Dear students, welcome back. We are in week 7. So, in the last session, we have already discussed cybersecurities and attack. Also, we have discussed various security threats. So, in this session, we are going to discuss viruses and malwares. Although this topic we have covered briefly in our previous session, so in this session, we will go through a more detailed understanding of computer viruses and malwares. So, viruses and malwares represent some of the most pervasive cybersecurity threats affecting computers, mobile devices, networks, and users globally. So, as malicious software, these threats encompass various types including viruses, worm, ransomware, spyware, each with unique infection methods and damage potentials. So understanding these malware types is the fundamental for anyone studying the cybersecurity, as they can lead to extensive damages ranging from data theft and privacy invasion to financial loss and system corruption. So, in the previous sessions, we have already discussed what is computer virus. So, just to recall, a computer virus is basically a program. It's a type of malware that attach itself to a legitimate program or file, allowing it to spread from one computer to another computer. So virus depends on users' action or to propagate. They spread when infected files are shared and opened. So unlike worms, viruses cannot replicate independently. They rely on host program and user activities to move between systems. So, how viruses work? So, infection, a virus attach itself to a specific file, program, or maybe the part of the system. So, common targets include executable files, system files, or even the document with macros. So, when infected programs or file is open, the virus gains a foothold on the system. Replication. So after initial infection, the virus replicate itself to some other files, programs, or sectors of the computer. So this replication often occurs whenever the infected file is accessed, helping the virus to spread to other part of the system or to some external devices that might be shared with other users. The next step that virus perform is execution. So once active, the virus executes its payload, which could range from relative benign actions like displaying messages to malicious activities such as corrupting the files, stealing the data, or disabling certain system functionalities. So now let's discuss different types of viruses. So file infector virus. File infector virus attach themselves to some executable files or which we also call like exe files or maybe .com files. So when infected files basically is run by someone, so the virus activates, spread to some other executable files on the system. So file infectors can cause significant damage by corrupting the programs, reducing the system performance, and potentially spreading to the shared files or external drives, enabling cross-computer infection. Macroviruses. So macroviruses are normally written in macro languages, commonly targeting applications like Microsoft Word, Excel, Visual Basic, and so on. So these viruses attach themselves to documents and execute when the infected document is open. So they can spread through email attachments also through shared drives or any medium that transmit documents, making them particularly prevalent in the environment where the document sharing is frequent. So microviruses can alter or corrupt data, create copies of themselves, and infect other documents on the same system. Another type of virus is basically the boot sector viruses. These type of viruses are um, uh, really dangerous because boot sector viruses target the master boot record of the hard drives or removable media such as USB drives. So they activate uh, when the computer starts before the operating system loads, allowing them to infect the system at the fundamental levels. So these viruses can render a system unbootable, and they often required a specialized tool or complete drive reformatting for removal. The next type of virus is residential viruses. So these viruses enable themselves in a computer memory and remain active as long as the operating system is running. So by residing in the memory, they can intercept and infect files accessed by the users or by some systems, often remain unnoticed for extended periods. So because residential viruses activate each time when the system is started, they can spread to other programs and files whenever they are opened or modified. The next type of computer virus are polymorphic uh, viruses. These type of viruses are designed to evade detection by antivirus software by modifying their code each time the file is infected. So by altering their signature, these viruses make detection challenging and required more advanced scanning techniques like heuristic analysis for detection. So polymorphic viruses are highly adaptive, enabling them to persistence longer in the infected system. The other type of computer virus is multi-partite virus. So multi-partite viruses are versatile and dangerous as they can infect multiple parts of the system, including both files and boot sectors. So by targeting various areas, these viruses can quickly spread throughout the system, making cleaning up more complex and difficult. Let's discuss some notable email viruses. I love you virus, which was activated in 2000. So I love you virus spread through email with the subject line I love you and an attachment label as an I love you letter. So once open, the virus overwrote the files including personal document and system files, and then sent itself to all the contacts in the victim's email address book. So this self-propagation led to widespread infection within hours, causing to an estimation of 100 billion in damage globally. Another example is Melissa virus in 1999. This virus spread via a Word document attached to an email. So once this Word document open, it infect the system, harvested email contacts, and send itself to the top 50 contacts in the user's address book. So this results in email server overloads and operational disruption for large organization. Malware, as we have discussed earlier, so it's a broad term that encompasses various type of malicious software including viruses, worms, trons, ransomware, spyware, adware, etc. So worms is basically standalone malware that replicates itself to spread to some other computers over the network. Unlike the viruses, worms do not need to attach themselves to an existing program. So some of the characteristics is like worm exploit vulnerabilities in the operating system and application to propagate. They can spread rapidly and cause the network congestion. Some of the examples, Morris worm, the Morris worm created by Robert Tappan Morris was one of the earliest worm to spread across the internet. So this type of worm was released unintentionally, but it infects computer by exploiting vulnerabilities in the Unix-based system. SQL Slammer worm, 2003. So this type of worm exploited a vulnerability in the Microsoft SQL Server and SQL Server desktop engine within the minute of its release. So it causes significant internet slowdown worldwide, disrupting the services like ATM services, airline services, emergency response operation, etc. Now let's discuss the next type of malware is Trojan. So malicious software disguised as legitimate software. Trojan do not replicate themselves like viruses or worm, but they rely on users to execute them. So there are different types of Trojans that are being recorded. Backdoor Trojan. So these Trojans create a backdoor of infected systems, allowing attackers to remotely access and controls the system without the user's knowledge. So through this backdoor, the attackers can perform various malicious activities such as stealing data, installing certain additional malware, and even taking full control of the system. So backdoor Trojans are often used in advanced persistence threat for prolonged stealing and stealthy access to compromised network. Downloader Trojan is another type of Trojans that are designed specifically to download and install other malicious programs onto some infected systems. So once activated, they connect to a remote servers controlled by some attackers, retrieving additional malware, and also it includes spyware, ransomware, and adware. Now we will see some more types of malware, and we are discussing the Trojans here. So banking Trojan is another type of Trojan that are specially designed to target online banking and financial transactions. They stealthy, they infiltrate systems to steal sensitive financial information such as bank login credentials, credit card numbers, and personal identification information. So these Trojans often employ techniques like keylogging, form grabbing, or man in the browser attack to capture the data during the transactions. Some of these examples are given here. So for example, Emotet Trojan used for stealing the data and downloading other malware. ZS Trojan known for banking frauds. Ransomware is another type of malware that encrypts victims' files and demands a ransom for a decryption key. So some of the notable example of this type of malware is WannaCry 2017. So WannaCry was global ransomware attack that affect over 200,000 computers across 150 countries within a short period. So it exploit vulnerability in Microsoft Windows, encrypting files on infected systems and displaying a ransom demand payment in Bitcoin for decryption. Spyware is a type of malware specifically designed to secretly gather information from users' device without their knowledge or consent. So it operate in the background, often comprising users' privacy and security. So some of the examples like cool web search, this spyware hijacked the browser settings, redirecting the users to some unwanted web sites and web pages and displaying the intrusive advertisement. It often modified Internet Explorer settings and was known for its persistence and difficulty in removing, causing significant users frustration. Um, Fisher is another type of spyware which is being used for surveillance purposes primarily by the government and law force agencies for target monitoring. So adware is a software that automatically display or download advertisements materials, typically in the form of pop-ups or some banners when a user is online. While often bundled with free applications, adware can lead to unwanted disruption and privacy concern. So if we see an example of adware, so Fireball is a notorious adware that infect millions of the computers globally. So initially posing as a legitimate application, it manipulated the web traffic to generate an revenue and could install additional malware on infected systems. So Fireball demonstrate the potential for adware to act as a gateway for more like dangerous threats, highlighting the risk associated with seemingly benign software. Rootkits, basically another type of malware which poses significant threats to the system integrity and security by allowing unauthorized access while remaining hidden from detection. So rootkit basically operates at low level within the operating system, often modifying system files and process to hide their presence. So this behavior allows them to evade detections by traditional antivirus and security tools. Stacknets is a sophisticated computer worm that include a rootkit especially designed to target industrial control systems, particularly those used in the nuclear facilities. So it manipulates programmable logical controllers to disrupt the operations while concealing its presence, effectively causing physical damage to the equipment. Keyloggers, another type of malware, are specifically designed to record the keystroke. So this type of malware record the keystroke made by users on a keyboard. So this type of malware captures the data, which include like sensitive information, passwords, credit card numbers, personal information, and some other confidential data. So the main purpose of these type of malware is to act as a legitimate programs and employing like monitoring and parental control. Also, these type of softwares are being used for that purpose also. So Key Ghost is a well-known hardware logger that connects to computer keyboard port. It is capable of storing keystrokes for letter retrieval, making it a powerful tool for capturing sensitive information without detection. Now let's discuss how the malware normally spread. So understanding like the methods by which malware spread is crucial for effective prevention and protection. So let's discuss some of the common vectors through which the malware can infect the system. So from the email attachment, we have discussed that also earlier. So this is one of the most prevalent method of the malware distribution is through infected email attachment. So normally the cyber criminals send some email containing attachments that appears legitimate, but when you open it, these attachments, the files can install various types of malware, including the virus, worms, and Trojan. Malicious websites. So malware can also spread through malicious website, often via drive-by downloads. So when a user visit an infected website, malware can automatically download and install without their consent, taking advantage of software vulnerabilities or maybe some outdated browsers. Additionally, a popping up of some misleading misleading advertisements and so on, where the users are forced to click certain links, is also a way how the malwares are downloaded, and because of that the system securities are being compromised. Removable media, USB drives and external hard drives are another common vector for malware transmission. So when infected devices is connected to a computer, it can automatically execute malicious code and spread the infection. So this method is particularly concerning in the environment where multiple users access shared devices, as malware can easily propagate across systems through these external storage solutions. In addition to the methods that we have just discussed, like email attachment and malicious website and through malware, through USB and so on, there are some other methods through which the malware spread. Network is another methods that they exploit. So network exploits means if the malware particularly worm, they can exploit some vulnerabilities in some network services. So they can spread automatically across the connected devices. So once worm, for example, gain access to a single system through an unpatched vulnerability or misconfiguration, so it can replicate itself and scan for other susceptible machines within the network. Bundle software. So many users unknowingly installed malware by downloading like free software from untrusted or bogus sources. So often these free applications are bundled with some additional software such as adware, spyware, and these can be installed along with the primary applications. So during the installation, user may overlook options that allow these unwanted programs to be included. So once installed, the bundle software can compromise user privacy, collect the personal data, or it also redirect users to some malicious websites. Next is how we can detect these malwares and viruses. So we have already discussed in the previous sessions that there are different types of tools. Some are maybe most likely available in the operating system that you are using it. Sometimes you have to buy some third party softwares like antivirus softwares to have an extra layer security in your computer systems. So these tools are normally used to detect the malware or to prevent the act of those malwares and some viruses. So these popular tools like Norton, Casper, McAfee, and so on, they uses the detection methods like signature-based detection method, which we have also discussed in the previous sessions. Some heuristic-based techniques are also being used so that if the signature is not matched based on the behavior of the programs or the system, the antivirus can detect those code and okay, and basically highlight it as a antivirus. Okay, we'll break it here. All right. Yeah. So detection methods, detection and prevention. So we already have discussed that we use antivirus software, anti-malware software to detect and prevent the malware or the viruses. So these detection methods, like we have discussed earlier, that are being used by most of the antivirus software, like signature-based detection, heuristic analysis, and behavior analysis. So all these techniques are normally being used by antivirus software to detect and prevent the spread of malware. The other important approach that we have to use to prevent and detect the malware is keeping the operating systems, keeping the antivirus softwares, the drivers up to date. So keeping operating systems, browsers, application that you normally use, and the antiviruses that you have in your computer. So keep regularly updating it will prevent the malware to do different types of act in your computer systems. Also using the firewalls, because firewalls normally act as a barrier between the trusted and untrusted networks. And it filters the incoming and outgoing traffic. So all these techniques are very useful for detection and prevention of the viruses and malwares in your computer systems. Now, we continue discussing our topic related to how we can prevent and detect the viruses and the malware. So, safe browsing practice is the key. So avoiding suspicious links. So users should avoid using suspicious link. The user must be must follow cautious. They should be cautious when they receive certain emails or certain links or pop-up that ask them to click certain pages. So this is one of the technique that we have to follow when we use browsing practices. In the same way, when you are downloading certain files or software, so always download files or softwares or programs from trusted source. Email attachment, we have to be very cautious when we receive email from unknown source or even from the known source which has certain attachments. Nowadays, most of the emails also provide support of scanning the attachment, and if there is any attachment has virus, so the email services normally will not allow you to download the attachment, but we have to be very careful. In the same way, while we are accessing some web pages online, so we have to utilize the HTTPS. So when browsing the pages, always look for those websites that has HTTPS because this includes like the connection is encrypted, protecting the data that transmitted between the user browser and the website. In the same way, when you are using public networks, always use VPN. So VPN can help you to secure data transmission over the public network by encrypting the connections. User awareness and training is also the key to prevent viruses or malware attack. So recognizing like phishing attempts, understanding the safe browsing practices, in the same way avoiding common pitfall. So these are all and so on. These are all normally being given in some awareness and training sessions. So regularly we have to conduct some training sessions to our users so that they can know about phishing and they can know how to avoid the phishing attempt. In the same way, educating users about the safe browsing habits are also the key. And training should also cover, common malware infection vectors, like how social engineering tactics are being used, what is unsafe downloads. All these are basically required because it will help the users to recognize and avoid the potential threats proactively. So this completes our session. In the next session, we will discuss about the concept of cyber hygiene. Thank you.